You don't know how it pains me to say this, but my official prediction is Obama will win re-election in 2012. Yep, I think he will. Probably handily. Hey guys, Nutnfancy with a rare political video here in the Nutnfancy project. Couple ground rules to the video. I've heard throughout the years when I've made a political statement here and there, TMPers, my friends across the world, subscribers, some will say, well, don't get political. We don't want that out of TMP. I understand the sentiment, but you'd really have to have not been paying attention to understand that most of the stuff I review here in the Nutnfancy project is quite political. Guns, knives, other dangerous things, they're very political, and most have very well organized and well financed enemies that would love to make them illegal for you and me to possess. So by the very nature of the stuff that I've chosen to review for law enforcement, military, responsible civilians across the world, this has to be a political channel at times when I move to do so. So that's a ground rule. I make no apologies for making this video because it's part of me being true to my charter here in the Nutnfancy project, which is helping to preserve the Constitution of the United States, helping to preserve liberty. That's one of the charters I've given the Nutnfancy project. Keep in mind, this is a very small project. Everything I say here will probably make no difference whatsoever in the elections. I have to do it for my integrity, though, and maybe, just maybe, sway my target audience for this video, which might be you. My target audience for this video is not a liberal-leaning viewer, although there are some of those here in the Nutnfancy project, and I welcome them. I'm glad to have them. They will probably find great difference with me and the stuff that I'll say in this video, and maybe have said in other videos, philosophy videos, and that's fine. As long as they're respectful, cool about it, voice your opinion, move on down the road. Don't grandstand in the comments. That's not welcomed. It's another ground rule of this video. Grandstanding is when you want to hijack the comments for your own political purposes. Go find your own forum, grandstand there. You're welcome to disagree, that's fine. Be respectful, move along. If it gets out of hand, I'll lock the comments down, I'll lock the ratings down on this video. I always retain the right to do that. Me and Verolinus, Tactical Doodle, the team here in the Nutnfancy project. But Nutnfancy, I have a right to voice my opinion. Well, in your own forum you do. This is a private forum here in the Nutnfancy project. It's a small community, and opinions of all types are always welcome, but if it gets out of hand, you may not be welcomed. Just like in any other forum that is reputable, they'll run someone that gets out of control. So that's a ground rule, and it's my own opinion, and I could be wrong on these things, although I do feel them, and they're genuine opinions, and I need to voice them to be true to my own sense of integrity. I hope you are also true to your own sense of integrity. And again, I was talking about the target audience. It's not really the liberal. It's actually a conservative, a constitutionalist, maybe a libertarian, that does not want to vote for Mitt Romney. Whoa! You're a Mitt Romney supporter? Well, if I'm going to be honest, I'd have to say not really. He was probably the last candidate I wanted to win the Republican nomination. I was not a rah Mitt guy. I too believe we need a constitutionalist that is unapologetically committed to the restoration of the U.S. Constitution. That's what I like. I saw a lot of those things in Ron Paul. There's a lot of things I read on his website as I studied his candidacy that I liked. I do not, however, feel that he would have been electable, personality-wise, to the general population of the U.S. I don't. And this is another ground rule. Ground rule is be realistic in the political scene here in 2012. There's some guys, maybe they are the libertarians that we need to do this, we need to really overturn this, we need to eliminate those government agencies. And on probably 95% of that, I'm on board. I agree. I love it. going down the talking points, yeah, nuke it. We need to get rid of that. We need to do this with the tax system. I'll talk about some specifics here. I agree. But the realistic approach to the political scene is realizing that the president, no matter who he is, cannot effect change on his own. He needs support. He can't do it alone. If you think he can, if you think your candidate of choice could have got in there and revolutionized the United States of America in a return to constitutional ethics, I think you'd be disappointed. Let's say Ron Paul got elected. Let's just say that. How effective do you think he would have been as a president? This is all conjecture. But I think you would see all kinds of brick walls going up in front of him from his political enemies. From government agencies that stood in the way of getting axed, you'd see political brick walls being erected. It would be a fight. The one thing I love about the constitutional approach is, hey, we're going to ask for the elimination of these agencies, let's say 50 agencies, and after all those political wars are waged and after everything's said and done, the alliances are made, the voting takes place, we got rid of 20. At least we got rid of 20 that weren't needed, that wasted our money. I just use that as an example that if you want $5,000 for your used car you're selling, it's a real nice car, whatever, maybe you need to ask 7. But there's some political realities that I think sometimes people on the conservative camp don't really think exist. But we need to return to constitutional principles, Nutnfancy. Let me enlighten you on the truth. Please don't. Don't. I already know about it. Anytime someone says, hey, I need to enlighten you on the truth, I tune out. Okay, I'm not a conspiracy guy. I don't do that. I'm a constitutional guy. I'm a freedom guy. Probably a Reagan conservative is what I am. In most things. In some things, like the environment and the preservation of our wild places to a reasonable level. Maybe some people would call that a liberal approach. I don't know. But don't. Some guys get wound up and they have tried to hijack the channel for their own political purposes. You need to make a video on this. You need to make a video on that. You need to make a video on this. This is now my pet political cause. Make a video on this. The answer has been no, 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 and no. I won't. I won't use TMP for that. I will use it for the big macro things that I think are genuinely threatening freedom. That are genuine threats to the things you and I love. The ability to run our own lives without government intervention, without government tracking, without the assignment of a political title, we're an enemy to the state because we own a gun. The ability to go to wild places, to public places without them being shut off to us. The ability to work our jobs without being overly taxed, regulated. These are freedom principles. I will defend those. That's what this video is for. I'm going to take out time from my job, my family time, review, research time, testing and review. For this video, it takes time. But I don't like Mitt Romney, Nutnfancy. There's a lot that don't. Again, I am not a rah-rah Mitt guy until now. And the reason I say until now is because now the primaries are pretty much over. Mitt's going to be the candidate of choice. So you have basically two, here comes that word again, realistic choices. Mitt Romney or Barack Obama. Those are your choices. But wait, there's going to be some third-party candidates that sign up. I'm going to vote for that guy, whoever it is. You're throwing your vote away, dude. But I want to do it on principle. Okay, then I'm going to ask you to go get a t-shirt that says Team Obama. I believe in Obama's vision for America is what I want you to make your t-shirt to say. And I'll wear that if you vote for anyone other than Mitt. Now some of you guys might be upset that I say this. Like, what? Would you kid? That's not fair to say. Again, realistically, it is fair to say. Because that's who this video is intended for. Is people who, for whatever reason, will not go out and vote for Mitt on whatever grounds you want. They hate Obama, but they don't like Mitt Romney. And I'm going to talk about some of his criticisms. Trust me. I'm going to be flat, straight up with you guys. But the candidacy of Mitt Romney is not exciting to them. And so it doesn't motivate them. They're like, why would I vote for someone who's pretty much like Obama? Sound familiar? to you, how you've spoken to your friends. What's the difference between Obama and Mitt? I'm going to cover some of those differences right now. Right off the website. Again, political realities, the things that Mitt writes on his website, will they become realities? No, probably not, because he's going to have a lot of political pressure not to. Those are the political realities. To think that a president of whatever stripe is going to waltz into Washington and change it overnight, not going to happen. In the macro sense, we're talking about restoration of the Constitution of the United States. You know what I think? Is this whole thing is not going to be reversible. It's going to continue. Big government's going to continue to enlarge. Deficits will continue to increase until the whole thing comes crumbling down like a house of cards. Then people will be ready for constitutional restoration. Perhaps. I can't even guarantee you then if they would. The problem is that we have going on, standard, sign falls down. We have going on in America is we have millions and millions of people who are not producers in the U.S. And they stand to benefit either real or imagined from the reelection of Barack Obama. And if you're not a producer, you don't contribute to the system, and yet you have something to, in their mind, gain financially. Maybe I can get on the government dole, I can get this handout. You know, millions and millions of people will vote for that person. Ask yourself, do they care about the Constitution? I'm going to ask you lots of questions in this video. I don't even know how long it'll go. Do they care about the Constitution? Is it important to them? I would say probably to the average American, absolutely not. They're ignorant of it. They don't care. They think some of the constitutional principles perhaps are old-fashioned, outdated, that it should be changed or done away entirely. And actually, you know, the Obama camp has said things along these lines, flat out. So yeah, I think as a country, are we ready to have a president? Let's just say, I don't even want to attach a name to it, but let's just say, are we ready to have a libertarian president elected? We need it, Nutnfancy. You don't know. We need it. We need it. We need it. We got to have it. If we don't, this whole country's lost. I get it. Again, I don't need to be preached to about the truth. Okay, I do a lot of reading. I know. I don't show this side of TNP very often because it's not germane to my other goals, which I'm pursuing. It is germane here, though. I know that, but keep in mind, we, and I want to say we, people who would vote for that type of president are extremely, I wouldn't say extremely, but we're definitely in the minority. How did Obama get elected? This is a question I don't hear people asking often, is how did Obama get elected in the first place? Was it a secret of what his agenda was? We had all types of warning voices saying, hey, he's big government, he's going to do this, nationalize health care. He will pursue these goals. Still elected. But he went up against McCain. Oh, I know. I don't like McCain at all. I know. But you need to understand the political realities, and I hate to keep harping on that but some people will preach, you'll see them in the comments, and they, even after I say all the things I say in this video, they still won't clue in and get it. Because they will, hopefully few, but some will say, well, I'm still not going to vote for Mitt because, you know, he's just as bad as Obama. Is he? Seriously? You think he is? Oh my gosh. Dude, you need to clue in. Now, I am sympathetic with the overall argument that some of these more well-spoken and reasoned people will make, and that is, we're on a sliding slope of the loss of freedom and the enlargement of government, the expanding deficit, and a Republican president will not necessarily reverse that. He may add to that, and we're still going to be sliding down that slope. And on that point, I will agree. Agree. I think some of the biggest government expansion happened under Bush 43. Agreed. Dude, seriously? The stuff he did and signed off on, I was just shaking my head. After 9/11, oh yeah, we need to create this agency. We need to do this. I'm like, what? Freaking, yeah, I don't like it either. Hate it. The question is, and this is philosophically something you have to answer is, and this is very, very important. I hope you get this out of this video, if nothing else. Where do you stand on that sliding loss of freedom? Simply put, do you want to accelerate it or do you want to slow down its loss? I've talked to some people and they want to accelerate it. They're like, hey man, we're so far gone, let's just accelerate it, get it over. I want to go into civil war. I'm dead serious. People will say that. You may see some of these guys in the comments. No, right now. Oh, really? You want to go into civil war? Oh my gosh. You are lost, dude. You have no comprehension about the bloodshed that would ensue in that. What do you think my whole video about? Well, part of it, don't hasten the day without rule of law. That was my key message there, is don't hasten the day. Be politically active to prevent it. Guys who say that like, oh yeah, man, it's time to lock and load, get on the water tower and just get ready. Oh my gosh, dude, you are part of the problem. A huge part of the problem. Here's why. You're not voting. You're not politically active. You've already extricated yourself from the entire political process, leaving us other patriots doing your work for you. Joining the NRA, NRA-ILA contributions, writing letters to the editor, making videos if you have an audience. Okay, so we'll carry the torch of freedom for you while you're naked on your water tower with your 30-06 waiting for the balloon to go up. I have zero respect for people like that. Well, I'm going to get my bunker. I'm all set and I'm ready to go, and it's already so far gone. I don't care. You better care. No man is an island unto himself. And so these more extreme voices calling for this, I do not support at all. I hope you don't either. It is insanity. Insanity. But Nutnfancy, we may get to that point one day. We might. We just might get to that point. We sure ain't there yet. Go back to the Declaration of Independence, dude. Wasn't the Declaration of Independence partially about the enumeration of offenses that were readdressed, and we tried to get this type of satisfaction from the British government? We couldn't do it. We worked through the legal process over and over and over again. You will be judged by humanity, history, and mankind by your adherence to the rule of law, if something like that were ever to happen. Just like our forefathers were. Hey man, did they just all say, hey man, we're going to war with a crown. That's it. Just because, we want a cooler country than that one. That's not what happened. Is we had a list of grievances that were addressed to the crown and thrown right back in our face over and over again, to the point where it became so egregious that we had no other choice. You with me? That's what the Declaration, in my understanding, I'm not the expert, that's partially what it was about, is that we tried. It will be no different in the future. You will have to work through the political process. You will have to withstand probably the hammering of an egregious political system, a tyranny, if you will, before anything like that would ever be justified. To do otherwise is insanity. So back to the political process. Where are you standing? Are you for the acceleration? For those of you who are still in the fight and helping me on this and haven't checked out and gone to your bomb shelter, you still there? Where are you? Where are you in the process? Are you willing to stave off the loss of freedom, Mitt Romney? Or do you just want to accelerate it? Team Obama. I believe in Obama's vision for America is what your t-shirt should say if you don't vote. It's that simple. If you were to boil this video down, that's what this video is about. I'm not going to spend a lot of video time right now criticizing Romney. Trust me though, during the runoff with his opponents, I had some real issues with how it went, what things were said. I wanted a true conservative voice, Reagan-like, to come from all the candidates. Unapologetic about the Constitution, about what the meaning of America. Unapologetic. In your face to the media. In your face to the media is what I'd love to see. I didn't see that. It didn't move us. Maybe we will in the coming months ahead here in 2012 as Romney progresses to the polls. But Nutnfancy, you said at the outset of the video, you think Obama's going to win an election. I do, regardless of what we do. But we get back to the integrity of our Constitution. I'm saying ourselves, our personal makeup. And that is You're playing a football game in high school. You're down, 3 touchdowns. What do you do? What do you do? Do you run to the bomb shelter, the locker room, and you just say, you know what, I'm done. At halftime, said, I'm not going back out. I am not going back out. You guys go back out. I'm going to stay here in the locker room and suck my thumb. Is that what you do? Or do you go out and you fight harder than ever? That if you're going to go down, you're going to go down with honor. With honor. That you can look your children in the face, your grandchildren, and say, I did everything in my power to preserve your liberty through political means. I did everything. I voted. I did this. I belonged to the National Rifle Association, Gun Owners of America. I contributed. I wrote letters. I was politically active. I voted. I encouraged others to vote. And in the end, perhaps we lose. You have this, though. You have integrity. Integrity of heart, that you did the right thing. And that no one can take away from you. You go out, second half, and you fight harder than ever. You get a game plan. You made some mistakes in the first half. Welcome to life, dude. Get over it. Press on. Mitt Romney, though. One thing people may object to Mitt Romney on several different levels, and I'll tell you, I have, and still do. But again, I'm going to vote for Mitt Romney because I'm for staving off the loss of freedom instead of accelerating the loss of freedom. Now, if someone shows up and they go, well, Mitt Romney's going to be just as bad as Obama, if not worse. I cannot disagree with you more. And I would say that's an ignorant voice. Maybe they've read a website here, some extremist forums, they've gone here, and they've just ran with that. Bits of information. They go, you know what? What I recommend you do, honestly, is go to Mitt Romney's website. It's mittromney.com, and read his platforms on the issues. I printed some out half hour ago. They're right here. I'm going to start off with gun rights. Because to me, gun rights is the barometer of freedom, is it not? How free are we going to be with Obama? Do you think gun rights are going to get better or worse with a second-term Obama? Do I even need to ask that question? Are you so out of touch that you don't know what he's going to do his second term? He hasn't done it his first term because he's been so busy with health care. He can't expend his political capital on gun rights. That's not his primary agenda. But come second term as a lame duck president, do you think it would not come up? Do you think that he would not somehow twist and manipulate some type of gun tragedy, maybe it's a mass shooting of some sort or another, as we've seen in the past, for his own political expediency? Don't you think he would? Using his, widespread media as his voice and aid in this process? Okay, from the Romney website. Here's what Romney says on his website. Mitt strongly supports the right of all law-abiding citizens to exercise their constitutionally protected right to own firearms. Is that on the Obama website anywhere? He might put a smoke screen out there and kind of act like he's, for gun rights, but then he's got some caveats in there. But we need to make sure, these guns don't get in the hands of criminals, as they often do. The protectionists have all kinds of double speak that they throw out there. Mitt goes on. Mitt does not believe the United States needs additional laws that restrict the Second Amendment right. It's right there, dude. It's pretty clear to me. Recognizes the extraordinary number of jobs and other economic benefits that are produced by hunting, recreational shooting, and the firearms and ammunition industry. Awesome. He does not support adding more laws and regulations that do nothing. Thank you, Mitt. They don't do anything. New laws? Well, we're going to make you safer. We're going to pass a new law. We're going to limit magazine capacity now to 2 rounds. Does that do anything? Come on. Dude, if someone's committed to wrongdoing, to murdering, to disobeying the current laws, don't you think they'll continue to disobey whatever dumb law you pass? They'll go to the black market if they need to. They'll steal their guns. They'll make another weapon, a gas bomb, and on it will go. People committed to doing evil will do evil. They don't need a gun. I said that in Dangerous Things, right? They don't need a gun. Realists understand that. Usually conservatives understand that. Obama doesn't understand that. He thinks as a protectionist that he's going to make you safer. It's a government's job to make you safer. In the process, he's going to strip all your rights. He's going to label you, the law-abiding gun owner, as a criminal. You need to register guns, by the way. Register your guns. And then later on, we will come for your guns in the hopes of making society safer. Surely you understand. How would you not understand that? The Obamaites will say. Second term Obama. Watch out. Watch out. Do not register. Do not. Hear me? Mitt was proud to support legislation that expanded the rights of gun owners in Massachusetts. Did you know this? I didn't know this. As governor, he also designated May 7th as a right to bear arms day. Mitt Romney did. Okay, that's cool. To honor law-abiding citizens and their right to use firearms in the defense of their families, persons, and property for all lawful purposes, including common defense? Right on the Mitt Romney website. Bet you didn't know that. I put an exclamation point right there. It's so important. What does a common defense mean? It means that the law-abiding citizen monitors the government, in my mind. That if it gets out of hand, and Mitt says this in another portion on his website. Well, I think it was on Mitt's. It might have been on another website. I apologize if it wasn't. I want to be accurate. Common defense is, yes, common defense of the U.S., but also monitoring of the government. The whole reason the Second Amendment exists. Gun rights. Better or worse with Obama? What you think? What you think? Well, I'm not going to vote for Mitt. Okay, so you just voted for Obama then. You voted for the acceleration of the erosion of your gun rights. Do you like being able to go out and buy a gun at a gun show in non-California states? Poor California. You want to see what the U.S. is going to end up like? Go to California. The gun laws in California. That's what we're headed for, guys. And worse, much worse. Remember that video I made against AB 262? Overturned, now law in California. Purchasing ammo sales. Let's see. Taxation on ammo. Recording of personal information on any ammo purchase. Magazine restriction capacities. Smart guns. Smart microengraving and ammunition, which by the way is very expensive. All those costs will be passed on to you. National registration. Maybe part of the national ID card. That could come. Blocking of all importation of whatever types of guns you like. You like those AKs, don't you? Oh, cool. Who doesn't? All blocked for the common good of society. AKs of all sorts and descriptions. All guns. Garand's re-entering the United States. It barely passed again, I guess, last January 2012. Obama blocked the re-importation of Korean M1s, and now they're coming in. But he showed his hand with that one, didn't he? He probably regretted it. He was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that politically yet. Second term, I will. How about international alliances to strip U.S. gun rights? Signing of UN treaties. Do you think Mitt's against that or for it? Well, he's for it. Are you insane? Come on. Of course he's against it. Now, let me say this. I'm not going to say or predict with a magical crystal ball that he won't do anything that will injure gun rights. I'm not going to say that. I will say this, though. He will erode them less than Obama. I will say that. How about straw man scams like Fast and Furious down in Arizona, importing guns into Mexico that killed federal agencies, all under the auspices of criminalizing US FFL owners? Is that going to continue more with Obama or less? I don't know about Fast and Furious scams, but he'll do whatever he can to criminalize the U.S. gun owner, to shut it down. Remember, he will use any political thing to his advantage. This news event happened. Boom! We need to register all the guns to make society safer. I think you would see a lot less of that with Mitt Romney. Closure of public lands. That's something that's getting more and more attention, and I think it's going to snowball in second term Obama. Well, to protect the spotted whatever salamander, we can't have anybody shooting in these 10,000 acres. Shut off to all shooting. Sorry, guys. Will they come out and say, you know what, we want to shut you down so you have nowhere to shoot? That's what the protectionists have been doing for decades. All you guys watching this video, can you guys go out to places that I shoot at in your state? No, Nutnfancy, I have to drive 2.5 hours to get to gun range. You know why? Protectionists. You used to have places to shoot, some of which were public lands, and they were shut down either through lawsuits, brought to the state, organized groups, Sierra Club might be one of them, coming in and weighing in hot and heavy, so you have no place to shoot. That is part of their objective, dude. Wake up, man. They want you to have no place to shoot, including gun ranges. Is that going to get worse or better with second-term Obama? What you think? That's all I'm going to say about gun rights. Out-and-out bans. There might be a reinstitution of bans. All semi-automatic firearms, done. Register them immediately or face felony charges. They will never stop, never be appeased. On we go. How about energy? You guys digging paying $4 to $5 a gallon for gasoline right now? May go higher. In 2008, Barack Obama said, kind of quoting, gas prices, electricity prices will necessarily have to go up as I promote alternative energy forms. And I don't think he just said go up. I think he said go up drastically. That's part of his policy. That's what he wants. We're seeing a fruition of his policy. Part of which is caused by him shutting off our offshore or drilling rigs. What event did he use? Did he springboard off of to do that? Oh yeah, the oil leak in the Gulf of Mexico. They still haven't been reopened. See how it works? Just waiting for the right event. Boom! Close all of it off. Gas price shoots up. Out come the excuses from the Obama administration. Oh, it's not our problem. Hey, it's not this. It's the Arab Spring. That's why gas prices went up. No, it isn't. You guys just close off, I don't know, whatever percentage of U.S. oil production. Supply and demand, you cause that to go up, they'll never own it. Even now with the election in 2012 going on, he's not owning it. He's not like, hey, yeah, this is... I'd almost respect that if he came out and said, it's part of my energy policy. I'm trying to drive up gas prices to European levels. I'm talking about Obama. I want $10 a gallon gas prices. It was Obama. Why don't you just come out and say it? We can respect that at least because you're consistent. You have a platform you're sticking to. We disagree with it. So are gas prices going to get better or worse with Mitt Romney, do you think? Well, lots of factors, right? Who's to say, Nutnfancy? Well, who's to say indeed, but I'll tell you what. Looking at his energy policy here, let's see. It's going to be better. What do we got going here? Energy off the Mitt Romney website. I circled this. This is what this says. The former... No, that's not it. Oh, yeah, it is. That the United States is an energy-rich nation behaving like an energy-poor nation in 2012. Interesting. Mitt Romney says this about the Obama administration's energy policy. It has been simply incoherent. Amen to that, brother. We have blocked Obama, not we. Obama has blocked offshore drilling in the U.S. while increasing drilling off the coast of Brazil. And he's blocked construction of the pipeline that would bring Canadian oil down to U.S. I think part of it was approved, but not to any measure that it would help us. Knowing full well that the result would be that Canadian oil would be flowing to China instead. They have to sell their product, so they're going to sell it to China. On and on it goes. Let's see if I got the second thing. He's going to open up Gulf of Mexico drilling, it seems like. Conduct pre-approved activities in pre-approved areas. Okay, what I read? That we have 3% of our federal lands currently leased for the production of oil. I got to get into the specifics of this stuff, guys, because if I don't, people won't get it. They'll go, well, I don't see it. So I'm digging in the specifics for you guys. So he's going to open up more federal lands. And by the way, I am for the preservation of natural lands. But I'm not one of these guys that say, hey, the lands are so natural that we don't ever want any humans going in there. I'm not one of those guys. I think we can manage them reasonably like we've done for decades in the United States. I've been in areas where they are extracting natural gas, sometimes even oil. You wouldn't even know it. It's clean. They just are smart about how they do it. I think you can do it that way. Strip mining, stuff like that, maybe I'm not for that kind of stuff. We need to look at it. Expand NRC, Nuclear Regulatory Commission, capabilities for the approval of additional nuclear reactor designs. Would you find that on the Obama site? Whoa, Nutnfancy, nuclear power plants? We're not for that at all. Were you for the electricity that's powering your computer that you're watching right now? Okay, energy's got to come from somewhere. We got to produce it somehow. People just crack me up on their hypocrisy. Well, I'm for the reduction of energy use. Okay, drive a bicycle. I mean, really, ride a bicycle everywhere. Don't use electricity in your house. And then that's someone who's living on principle. Someone who does all that, they're not driving a car, they're living like they're in the 18th century. Okay, salute. I mean, I still think you're in la la land, but at least I respect you because you're consistent in your philosophy. Oh my gosh. Gas prices. $5 a gallon gas. You digging it? For that reason alone, you should vote against Barack Obama. It's going to get worse. You think it's not going to get worse? You know, he hinges his whole energy policy on technologies that just are not delivering. There's no commercial market. They're not that potent in their capability to deliver large amounts of energy. Solar, wind. I would love all these things to expand and get more effective. Here we are, decades and decades later after they've been around, and it just is not happening. Hybrid cars whose batteries run out after 9 years have to be replaced. Huge pollution. Electrical cars, the electricity that they're charged with has to come somewhere. I mean, let's deal in realities, guys. Deal in realities. Republican president will probably bring those oil prices down. That's all I'm saying. How about taxation? Now, I went to the Ron Paul website while he was running, and I'll tell you, I read a lot of stuff. I was shaking my head going, preach it, brother. Preach it. Taxation was one of them. His tax policy, loved it. Loved it. I read the tax policy on Mitt Romney. I see a lot of things that I like. What's he say? Spending cuts of approximately $5 billion per year. That's good. So he's talking about cutting spending, returning to below 2008 levels. Here it is. Repeal Obamacare. That's on the Mitt Romney website. Did you guys know that? Repeal Obamacare. That's pretty good. I'm all for that, by the way. Poses an enormous unaffordable obligation to the federal government while intervening in a matter that should be left to the states. Sounds like Ron Paul. I like that. Privatize Amtrak. Savings $1.6 billion. Reduce subsidies for the National Endowments for the Arts. I'd be for that. That'd be cool. Eliminate funding for family planning institutions. Okay. Reduce foreign aid. On and on he goes. He's talking about his economic approach. How he's going to do it. Oh, taxes. Across the board, 20% cut in marginal rates. I don't see a flat tax proposal there. I really wish I did. Although that would be a huge political battle to ever pass that. Repeal alternative minimum tax, AMT, on the Mitt Romney website. Go look it up. Reduce the corporate tax rate to spur job growth and economic growth. I think that's true. I think it happens. Cut the corporate tax rate to 25%. Strengthen and make permanent R&D tax credit. A lot of other specifics he talks about. Taxation, going to get better or worse with Mitt Romney? What do you think? I got no guarantees for you guys. I don't. Remember, president's one guy. He's got to work with Congress. Hopefully he doesn't flip-flop. Could he? I don't know. No guarantees. But we're talking about accelerating or slowing down the loss of freedom here. What else? How about free speech? How about this video right here? Do you think the Obama administration's second term will welcome videos like this or take measures to shut them down? Opposing political voices. How did that SOPA thing go over earlier in 2012 where the government said we want the ability to disable rogue websites? As soon as you open that up under any auspices you want, say, hey, this website is an enemy to the U.S., now all you have to do is kind of take a little twist to that argument and just say, well, that guy was an enemy to the U.S. Now all these other websites are enemies. An expansion of the law. It always has these whole huge list of unintended consequences under the auspices of protecting the national asset of cyberspace. Be careful. Be very careful. There's huge facilities constructed already that are recording every click of your mouse, every email, every text you send being recorded. Why? Perhaps future use. Future use. Well, in 2012 you said this. Yeah, it's true. As far as I know, my research, I swear. You know, is it going to be more welcome to criticize the government, or is there going to be a chilling effect on this? And again, it won't be outright. It'll be some made-up excuse. Well, this happened, so because this happened, we need to crank down on this to save society. Okay? Emergency measures will be taken. Some people have said, well, I think Obama's going to declare martial law for the election. No, he's not. Please, let's stay grounded in reality. Unemployment going to get better or worse with Mitt Romney, do you think? I think better. If he institutes some of the stuff he's talking about in his economic plan, go read it on his website, probably going to get better. No guarantees. Maybe the best we can hope for is it stops getting worse. Maybe that's realistic, that it stops getting worse. Is that a realistic thing to ask for? I think it is. Spending under Obama is insane. $3.5 trillion federal spending in 2012 to projected $5.6 trillion within the next decade. The sharp rise has been entirely a matter of choice. Part of that's Obamacare. Where's that money coming from? As soon as they said it, I was like, where's that money coming from? It's not coming from anywhere. Apparently from China. Federal spending as a percentage of GDP has hovered around 20%. Obama took office, it shot up to 25%. I like this part that Mitt Romney says, is it so important, so critical that it's worth borrowing money from China to pay for it? Mitt Romney website. Is it going to get better or worse with Mitt Romney? How about this? Judiciary appointments, the Supreme Court. Word has it that several justices are waiting for perhaps a second term Obama, so they're going to step down knowing that they'll have someone replacing them that is similar in mindset. I don't know. Do you think Mitt Romney would appoint someone, let's go back to gun rights, would he appoint someone more favorable or less favorable to gun rights? What do you think? Having read what I just read you. Duh. Probably favorable, probably a conservative justice, probably constitutionally based is what you'll get out of Mitt Romney. If you say otherwise, you're not being truthful. So if you decide to stay home on the election and not vote for Mitt Romney, you're voting for the appointment that Obama will make, someone who's extremely anti-constitutional, big government. You're voting for his economic policy, perhaps in the future, wage and price controls, Obamacare, other socialized stuff. You are. King Obama. Seriously, I think this guy thinks he's a king, man. He doesn't really care if he tells his staffers, look for ways around this. Whatever the Constitution says, look for ways around it. You know, the legislative arm is, it's not delivering. I still want to get this. I have to succeed in my vision. My re-engineering of America. Does America need to be re-engineered? Ask yourself that. Presidential elections, 2012. Does America need to be reinvented? Because unless you haven't been paying attention, America is being reinvented with President Obama. We're changing some very basic things in America right now with his presidency. Personal responsibility, minimized. Government in charge of your life, maximized. It's going to get better or worse with a second term Obama. I want to wrap it up. 43 minutes into it. Basic edit video. Presidential elections 2012. Yeah, I think Obama's going to win. But I'll tell you what, I'm still swinging. I'm making this video, dudes. It's going to be controversial. Some will love it. I think most will love it. Some will, I can't believe you make it. Why? Why? Why can you not believe that I would make this video? Do you not know what one of the key principles here in the Nutnfancy project are? Preservation of liberty, dude. I'm sworn to uphold the Constitution. That oath does not go away. This is part of that oath as I see it. Peaceful, law-abiding, voice of reason, logic thrown out to my beloved friends across the United States of America. And by the way, listen to our European friends that have traveled down this road. unless you just are completely blind, they've been making hundreds and thousands of comments over the last 4 years of warning us in my gun and knife reviews. I can't own this. I wish I could. Guys, make sure you don't go down that slope because you're going to end up right where we are. Listen to him. Is it going to get better or worse with King Obama? It's going to get worse, a lot worse. It's probably going to get better with Mitt Romney. Oh, but Mitt Romney's a Mormon. I'm not voting for a Mormon. Are you insane? What does that have to do with anything? Catholic, Mormon, Christian, whatever religion. All of our presidents belong to one religion or another, some more or less. What's that have to do with anything? He believes in God. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Truly believes in God. A moral man. Is he as conservative as I personally would like him to be? Not from what I've seen. Maybe he will get more conservative. Maybe. Truly. Maybe he'll go to the mat. That he'll start speaking with power, conviction, and authority, not with talking points. And lay it on. If he does that between now and the election, he has a chance of winning. He gets out there and he just starts laying it down. Laying it down and speaking from here, the heart, not from speechwriters. Talking about providing an image of America, just like Ronald Reagan did. He will win if he does that. He will override all the people who decide to stay home, I think. This video, again, is intended for those people who say, for whatever reason, I'm not voting for Mitt Romney. Please reconsider. You're voting for Obama then. If you throw your vote away for a third-party candidate, whoever that is, you're throwing your vote away. But I'm on principle, I just can't. Well, you're part of the problem. You're one of the reasons Obama got elected in the first place. People who decided to stay home. Now, I'm concentrating on the popular vote. I know there's an electoral process. They usually correspond with each other, but still, from your integrity, participate. I feel strongly about this stuff. You like your guns, don't you? You like being able to control your destiny? I would fight tooth and nail to make sure Obama does not win second term. Judging by the way gun sales are going right now, there's a lot of people who have come to the conclusion that he's going to win. And I hope all those people participate vigorously in the political process. NRA, mandatory. Donating generously to the NRA ILA, which pays for political ads. It gets in the fight. Do it. GOA, go for it if you have extra funds. Letters, videos, talking to your neighbors, be active. Don't go to the locker room. Don't give up at halftime. Be a participant, be a warrior, be a patriot. This is Nutnfancy. See ya.